The Panthers' number 7 gets the ball in his last tackle, and he just absolutely puts his foot through it. And the ball sails high into the sky and takes on this long trajectory, like a well-directed missile, hits its peak, and then it begins to make its way towards the earth. The opposing fullback, well, he's rooted to the ground, he's underneath the ball, he's got no chance at running up the jump and trying to contest it. He simply has to wait for it to descend from the heavens as the Penrith kick chase just thunders closer and closer. It's like an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary that he launches from deep. It's got this pinpoint accuracy where the only player that can get to it is his own wide receiver. And Nathan Cleary did that throughout a lot of 2021 and also in 2020. Aside from his fantastic ball playing and running abilities, it's his kicking game that really sets the tone for Penrith. He buried opposition teams down their own end, and he displayed one of the most dominant kicking games that we've seen in the NRL. But it shouldn't really be a surprise. Cleary's been getting better and better at his kicking game over the past few seasons. And he's had the benefit of playing alongside some really good general play kickers in the form of Peter Wallace and James Maloney. But whenever he's had to step up as the lead kicker, he's done the job. In 2021, he finished the season with 348 total kicks, which was the top of the NRL. He kicked the ball 41 times more than Daly Cherry Evans, who finished with 307 general play kicks. But Daly Cherry Evans played 5 more games than Nathan Cleary. Mitchell Moses finished with 295 kicks during the season, which put him in 3rd place, and he played 2 more games than Nathan Cleary. Even renowned general play kicker Adam Reynolds was no match for Penrith's halfback. Reynolds finished the season in 4th, hitting 261 kicks. And from those 348 total kicks, Cleary managed a whopping 10,970 metres across the season, averaging 548.5 metres per game. It's the 2nd season in a row that Cleary has managed to top the kicking charts. In 2020, he averaged 487 metres per game. You have to go back to 2019 to see a player overtake Nathan Cleary. And that player was Mitchell Moses, who managed 357 metres per game that season. So he's improved on 2019 Mitchell Moses by 130 metres in 2020 and 191.5 metres in 2021. It's kind of ridiculous the level he's taken his general play kicking to. The average metres per game for the NRL's best kicker from 2016 to 2019 was 390 metres. Cleary is perhaps the most dominant general play kicker in history. Jonathan Thurston averaged more than 300 metres per game just once in his career. That was the premiership winning season of 2015 where he averaged 302 metres. But perhaps the best comparison is with Cooper Cronk, who was known throughout his career as an excellent general play kicker, who not only got distance but got very, very good accuracy on his kicks. The former Melbourne and Roosters halfback, he averaged more than 400 metres per game 3 times during his career, but he never once broke through the 500 metres per game barrier. His best season was 2011 when he averaged 441 metres per game. Cronk, though, does own the kicking totals. He managed 124,411 metres across his career. He also passed 10,000 metres per season 4 times. In fact, once Cronk became a starter, he didn't average fewer than 6,000 metres per season for the rest of his career. Cleary, well, he's only 6 seasons into his career, but he's already broken the 10,000 metre barrier twice. And it's hard to see him really dropping below that. Last season he managed 10,970 and in 2020 he managed 10,391. His total per season has fluctuated a bit. He kicked for 8,500 metres during 2017, but that dropped to 3,908 metres in 2018. And there's a pretty simple explanation here. That's simply because Peter Wallace was at the club in 2017, but he had injuries and he spent time at hooker, forcing Cleary to take on more of the general play duties. Then in 2018, James Maloney joined Penrith and he became the chief playmaker. He kicked for 5,202 metres. Then in 2019, Maloney was still there and he kicked for 5,354 metres. But Cleary drew closer, taking on more responsibility, finishing with a total of 4,580 metres. Then Maloney decided he was going to the south of France for a retirement party, so Cleary took over all the kicking, and in 2021 his numbers exploded, more than doubling his yearly output. And it's not hard to see why. Cleary went from having a halves partner known for his kicking to Jerome Luai, who averages 84.5 kicking metres per game so far in his career. In fact, last season, Jerome Luai only kicked the ball 105 times across 25 games, meaning he managed, on average, 4 kicks a game. And that put him well down the list at number 27 when it comes to most kicks during the season. He finished behind the likes of Adam Dwyer, Cody Nikorima, and Cody Walker. That's obviously not a bad thing. Nathan Cleary not only kicks the ball a lot, but he's an expert at it. Why hand the ball to Luai when you've got a human cannon for a boot at halfback? Cleary's kicking game may just change the way NRL halves approach their kicking game. We've already seen other halves looking to emulate his long, high kicks, and it's becoming a staple, really. If you watch Adam Reynolds, Daly Cherry Evans, Mitchell Moses, and even new Bulldogs 5'8" Matt Burton, the tactic is basically to kick the ball as long and high as possible. It pins your opponent close to their goal line, and it gives plenty of time for your kick chase to get down there and pressure your opponent, starting your sets very well. We even saw Sean O'Sullivan, who was Penrith's replacement halfback in round 1, do that to Manly. I've done a video on their kicking game which targeted Jason Saab. They were long high kicks pinning him inside the 20 metres in from touch and the 20 metre mark, meaning Saab was basically corralled into his right hand corner and given very little opportunity to return the ball or link up with Tom Trbojevic to make easy metres early in the set. So in the era of 6 agains, field position and turnovers have become so much more important, and having a good kicker can mean the difference between you belting the opposition on their goal line or you having to scratch around your 20 metre line on tackle 4. Having a good kicking game, and not only a good kicking game but a long kicking game, is what's starting to separate the good teams from the average teams. If you want to perform in the NRL and if you want to be able to move the ball up the field, you have to have a good forward pack, but then you have to have the kicking game to back it up, and Penrith have the best in the competition.